Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and I am excited today to be opening up a box, an expansion in fact, for Kingdom Death Monster. This came as part of the 1.5 Kickstarter edition. This is one of the expansions you can pick up, and I'm really excited for this one. This might actually be my most anticipated expansion, and it's honestly not the most popular Kingdom Death Monster expansion, but just because of its theme and because, well, I've even dressed up as Slenderman for Halloween at particular times. I really like this character. He's just all around creepy. There's video games made about him, so there's a lot of lore going around about this guy, and I don't know, and I'm really interested to see how that translates into Kingdom Death Monster and how he's used. So anyway, this is an unboxing video, and I'm going to show you exactly what you get inside of the Slenderman expansion for Kingdom Death Monster. So at the front of the box, of course, you're going to have a sticker which sits on top of a cardboard box. It's nothing fancy on the cardboard box, as I've mentioned in a previous unboxing. However, one thing I want to note is, I did mention in the other video, you know, for those of you that want to cut out the sticker, that might be worthwhile if you're really paranoid about throwing boxes out. It doesn't have anything on any of the sides or on the back that really you're going to care about. But it is a nice storage solution. However, the interesting part of it is this is majorly empty inside. It typically just has the cards, the miniatures, and the booklet. So in other words, half the box is probably empty. So in terms of how much space is going to be taken up on your shelf, you might want to think about throwing this away unless you really badly need a place to store your booklets. However, if you kept one of these expansion boxes, if you own all 12 of the original ones, you could throw all of your booklets into one of them and be done with it. But, I mean, that's up for you to decide on how you want to store things. So we're going to crack this thing open and see what's inside. So I'll just go ahead and cut the plastic wrap and get this shrink right off of here. So I'm really excited for this. This is honestly one of the if I had to pick one to add to the collection, even not talking about gameplay and things like that, I would totally be going after this. So just give me a second here as my camera goes bonkers on me. There we go, and we're back. Sorry about that. A little bit of autofocus issues there. So I'm going to show you guys what the game looks like on the table here without the wrapping on. And of course, it's just an expansion. It's not that exciting, but there you go. I'll give you a quick zoom in actually on the picture itself as well, so you can see. There you go. All right, we're going to knock it back out, and we're going to head in and see what's inside of this box. All right, so the first thing you're going to see inside these boxes is packing peanuts. A ton of them. These peanuts are everywhere. There's not tons of them, but just enough to basically protect what's inside of it, as well as a really smart storage compartment down the side for the booklet itself. So you can kind of just shuffle them out and everything will slide down. And you got your deck of cards, and you've got gear cards. There's actually quite a bit more gear cards in this one than the Lion Knight. And of course, you're going to have all your packing peanuts, which some people really don't like. But I like them from the standpoint that it's protecting the miniature, and that's really the most important part. Now, wow, I'm really noticing something kind of odd here. I think that's crazy. What's really funny about this is I actually just looked at this and I thought I was missing a sprue, because there's literally just one sprue in here. Now, putting this guy together, I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be, but he's not a big guy. Slenderman is very thin. Obviously, it's Slenderman. But in this case, for the miniature, very thin. He's almost more of a spirit or entity than he is even anything else. So his miniature translates like that, and you can see it when I pull this out of the bag here. You'll see how thin these pieces are. I don't know how nightmarish it's going to be to actually assemble this thing. It could be crazy because these pieces are so thin. But I think when he's finally done, he's going to look amazing. So there's his body. His body's probably the thickest part on him, but his limbs are just paper thin. But everything else, you've got some other things here that trail out from him. So as you can see from the box, you know, these pieces are going to basically just stick off the side of him. So getting those to stay in place with super glue is going to be interesting. We're going to be having some fun with that. But I'm really excited to build this guy. And as you can see, it doesn't look difficult because it's just one sprue. But we'll see very shortly how difficult that really is. Once I start building it, at least I will anyway. So what you're going to get inside as well is a little bit bigger of a base here. This one again says I love Poots, they all do. And then of course there's a piece that's actually sitting inside of this, but it's upside down. It should be sitting with the green side up. So this side with little circles should be face down inside when you build it. And then it kind of looks like a monument or a statue. That's the look it's going for. It looks really cool and classy. So that essentially is the box and the miniatures. Then we got some cards. So let's go ahead and rip into some cards. I'll start with the gear. This gear is even specific to Slenderman, so it even says so. Let's see what happens. So a lot of these gear cards, when they come with these expansions, are typically gear that comes out of combat or events when you're fighting these particular creatures. So the really cool thing is as you take them out, these are the types of gear that you can either get from them, or you can find, pieces of them to use to build other things. So I know that doesn't make too much sense without seeing the gameplay, but in future I plan to do a playthrough, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. So what we've got here is a deck of Slenderman gear cards, and I think these are all, specific just to the Slenderman gear cards. So let's go through them one at a time. So we got Gloom Coated Arrow, got a couple of those. One thing I'll be doing is inventorying these cards to make sure I have all of them. Gloom Bracelets. The artwork's always really cool, and I really like the clean look of the cards. Raptor Worm Collar, interesting. Gloom Cream, a couple of those. There seems to be 3 of most of these. Gloom Hammer, the Slender, oh wow. Gloom Katana, nice, like that. Gloom Sheath, there's a sheath for your katana, which I'm assuming pairs up with it nicely. Ooh, that's really nice. I like that. That's really cool. Dark Water Veil, alright. I love the artwork on these cards, are fantastic. You might be wondering what these little things are on the sides here. It's all about item synergy in this game. So, the game's not just based on item synergy, but that's the basically what's apparent with these gear cards is that when you're actually putting them in your 3x3 grid of gear cards, you actually use those color codes to touch each other. So, for instance, if you have if you have a red here, and hypothetically, in the perfect world, if it was sitting like this, in your grid of 3x3, then these two work together, and there's bonuses for that. So it's pretty cool. You can basically build your character in a way that really enhances his strengths, or his or her strengths. So we have another deck of cards that comes here. Looks like there's strange resources. So this is going to be the kind of stuff, if I'm not mistaken, that basically will drop when you kill the Slenderman, as well as a bunch of AI cards and things like that. So this is kind of more spoiler territory than the gear cards were. So I want to warn you in advance, if you don't want to see anything from the AI cards, I will be just passing by them quickly. I'm not going to sit there and talk about each one individually and how they work, because I do not want to enter the world of spoilers here, but you're going to see artwork and you're going to see the cards. So if you don't want to see it, jump away now, but I'm going to go through these relatively fast. So we're going to start with the Path of Gloom. Some of these cards are so new, they're sticking together. Slenderman, and when I say sticking together, they don't actually stick. They're just they're so nicely cut and pressed. So, Clarity of Darkness. So again, some of these are going to be absolutely scary looking, because this is a horror game, so keep that in mind. Dark Horror, Deep Paralysis, Do You Believe Me? Gaze of the Eye. There's all kinds of cool cards in here. And again, I don't even want to spoil this for myself, because if I go through this at a relatively quick pace, I won't even remember what these are. So I'm just kind of showing you guys, you get an idea of some of the artwork here, some of the cards that are inside of it, without getting into any specifics whatsoever about what you're seeing. There's more artwork as we come into this area here. Very cool. I'll back this up a little bit so you guys can see. Memory lapse complete. That looks bad. So I think these are the AI cards, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of why I'm jumping past them relatively fast. You're seeing each one. Bad water. Ooh, so these are the resources I think that drop when you kill, or potentially you could pick up maybe when you kill off the Slenderman. So that's really, really cool. So I'm going to have a fun time inventorying this pile and making sure. The other thing that's really cool with this game is the backs on the cards. I don't know if I've shown you in a prior one, but they're fantastic. So easy to distinguish which goes with which deck. So you got hit locations like Disorders, for instance. Your AI cards for your actual Slenderman, which again, the icons are right on the cards. So you'll never make a mistake as to which cards belong with which. Lots of AI cards to keep the game nice and fresh. Innovations, fighting arts, secret fighting arts, I don't know. I love the art, the style of these cards. They're just so nice. They're so classy. So anyway, hopefully that helps you guys understand what comes inside of the the Slenderman expansion for Kingdom Death Monster. Hopefully this was useful for you. At the end of the day, I was just trying to show you what's inside the box. We'll absolutely be unboxing some other ones as well. Just before we do that, though, I just remembered that we didn't actually take a look at the booklet inside, and that would be a big crime. Now, this is where spoilers would abound, but I'm going to do my best here off camera to ensure that you guys don't see anything spoiler related. So I'll show you the artwork at the beginning of this book, and that's pretty much it. So there's the book itself. The first page is safe, has some artwork, as most of them do. Then it has your talk about the actual expansion, how to put it into your core game, talks about some of the new rules, how to implement into the campaign. This is where it gets into spoilers, so I'm going to take this away for a second. Yeah, this kind of is where it gets into the storyline. So I would love to show you guys this stuff and the artwork, but I'm not going to. I think if you want to pick this up on your own, then I think that's where you should see that stuff. You should discover this stuff on your own, because this whole book, as most of these expansions are all story events. So I cannot show you anything further for risk of spoilers. I just won't do it. So I apologize for that, guys. Sorry, but I wanted to show you the beginning of the book so you get an idea of kind of how it's laid out. But I can tell you there is, with giving you just a little bit of a look on the sides here, there's lots of artwork, as you know, throughout it, and it goes into story type stuff as you go through. So I don't want to show that. So there was one thing remaining inside the box which I did miss, so I want to go over that now. Nothing too major, but it is kind of major. You get a Slenderman gear divider inside this package, which is really cool because, again, when you implement it or put it inside of your core box experience, you're going to want to be able to manage your cards and also be able to get to them very quickly. So that's really handy, and I like the fact that they actually include dividers with each expansion. So I'm just going to go ahead now and rip into this, because there's more than just this divider here. This is kind of what they look like. So one's for the Slenderman cards and one's for the gear, as we went through already. These two right here are settlement events. So some of these actual expansions are going to come with settlement event cards that you would find typically inside the core game, and they're going to add different things that can potentially happen. So without going through spoilers, these are the two. You can take a look and read them if you want to, but I'm not going to. But these are going to get incorporated into the settlement events when you use this particular expansion. But that's essentially it. I just wanted to make sure you guys didn't miss that, because this also comes as part of the expansion. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was useful in you understanding what comes inside the box and not specifics on the content. Thank you for your support, and as always, keep on rolling solo.